Hey YouTube, Kira Toy here, bringing you all my Valkyrie Yugioh deck profile for February 2019 post Savage Strike. Wanted to do an update to this deck. We got some new support, surprisingly, in the Savage Strike booster pack, which actually did help out the Valkyrie deck quite a bit, just with all the different plays you can do, including the new monsters, the spell, and the trap that we received in the booster pack. All very, very helpful for the whole mechanic for the Valkyrie deck. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. I've been wanting to do a Valkyrie deck for a while, but I just figured with the new support I would wait until I gathered all of it up for the deck profile. So to start off, I run 3 Valkyrie Brunhild. Sorry if I do mispronounce some of the Valkyrie names. I'll do my best to pronounce them, but sadly, if I do botch them up, I do apologize. It's unaffected by your opponent's spell effects and gains 500 attack for each monster your opponent controls. And when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can have this card lose exactly 1,000 defense, and if you do, your Valkyrie monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. So it's a good protection card, but also can hit some pretty big numbers as well if your opponent has a pretty good board set up. The whole point of the Valkyrie deck is just to summon out a bunch of Valkyrie monsters very quickly, so you have plenty of options available to you with all the other cards we do run in the deck. I also run 3 Valkyrie, this is the one I'm definitely going to mispronounce, sorry about that. It is the level 1 that we received in the Savage Strike booster pack. If this card is special summoned, you can special summon 1 Valkyrie monster from your deck except Valkyrie Sesh, and during your main phase you can send the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck to the graveyard, and you can only use each effect of Valkyrie Sesh once per turn. So it sets up for a lot of your other Valkyrie effects, and the fact that's a level 1, bit easier to also summon out to the fields and some of the higher level Valkyrie monsters that need to be special summoned through other means as well. But the special summon definitely does come in handy. It's a 1-for-1 target also being a level 1, so you have that option available to you with the deck also. And I also run 3 of the Valkyrie Yugioh. With this one, during your main phase, you can excavate the top cards of your deck equal to the number of other Valkyrie monsters you control. And if you do, add 1 excavated normal spell or trap to your hand. Also send the remaining cards to the graveyard. Otherwise, shuffle all excavated cards into the deck. And when this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 Valkyrie monster from your deck, and you can only use each effect of Valkyrie Yugioh once per turn. So being another lower level Valkyrie, very easy to summon out, and being able to excavate cards equal to the other Valkyries, as long as you get a lot of them summoned out, you have the means to search out these spells and traps that can help you for all of your other plays. So very, very helpful in being able to search out those options to go for with the deck. Decided to run 3 of Virt and Sesh just for the fact that they're easy to summon out, unlike a lot of the other Valkyries, and all just very beneficial effects, whether going up against your opponent or just, searching out cards that you could need for plays. And I also run 3 Valkyrie Drite, sorry about that. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 Valkyrie card from your deck to your hand, except for Drite. You can only use this effect once per turn, and it gains 200 attack for each of your opponent's banished monsters. So it's your searcher for a normal summon, so every time you have one of your normal summon options for your Valkyries, you should at least have a play to go for. That's why I like to run 3 Drite in the deck, just for the higher level monsters, or kind of like specific with the special summon that you can make use of for those cards, which is why they'll have lower numbers for their options. And then for those ones, I run 1 Valkyrie Zweit. If this card is summoned, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls, destroy it, and after damage calculation, if this card battles, you can target 1 continuous spell in your graveyard, add to your hand. You can only use each effect of Zweit once per turn. So it's a 1-of just for the fact that you have means to special summon the card out, obviously, and then being able to destroy your opponent's monsters definitely does help for sure. And the add back to grab your continuous spells definitely does help when you're setting up those plays for the 3 different continuous cards we run for the goddesses. And I also run 1 Valkyrie Yugioh. If this card is special summoned from your hand by a spell effect, you can target 1 Mischief of the Time Goddess in your graveyard, add to your hand. If you control a Valkyrie monster other than Valkyrie Yugioh, to quick effect, you can banish 1 monster from your opponent's graveyard. Then this card's attack becomes equal to the banished monster's original attack until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect of Valkyrie Yugioh once per turn. So we run Celestial Transformation in the deck, so the special summon from the hand can be very easy to make use of for sure. Just like these one-of options, because if you open up too many of these, you just end up having cards that are much more difficult to get out unless you open up the spells. Obviously, at least with the ones you can normal summon, you can search for the options you want for your cards, of course. And then I also run 1 Fortune Chariot. The equip power of the card is the one main reason I like it in the deck for the attack directly. If you wanted to take it out for another option, I'll show you in just a bit what you can replace it for. But I like it also counts as a Valkyrie card, and having the Union effect to equip on or special summon just gives your Valkyrie monsters other beneficial effects that you can use with this card and all the other ones in the deck. And lastly, for the monsters, I also have the 1 Archlord Christia in here. If you want to run a second one, you can take out the Fortune Chariot, but it shuts down special summoning, so it can really lock down your opponent. You can have exactly 4 fairy monsters in your graveyard to special summon this card, so very easy to do with all the different ones we run in the deck. With that option there. And then also, if it would be sent to the graveyard with the effect, add that target to the hand. Neither player can special summon monsters. Like I said, that's why I like the lockdown. And if this face-up card be sent to the field, to the graveyard, placed on top of the deck instead to re-add. So as long as you can control the numbers in your graveyard, Christia definitely does come in handy for sure. And that is it for the monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. I run 3 Mischief of the Time Goddess. Neither player can activate cards or effects in response to this card's activation. It cannot be activated as a chain, link 2, or higher. And at the end of your battle phase, if all monsters you control are Valkyrie monsters, minimum 1, you can send this card to the graveyard. Also, immediately after this effect resolves, skip to the start of the next battle phase of your next turn. If you do, you cannot activate Mischief of the Time Goddess until the end of that turn. So it really helps just going around some of the other ones like Ride of the Valkyries, which we'll get to in just a bit, being able to avoid the end phase for some of your other Valkyrie cards, and being able to give you that whole other turn of the battle phase to work with. Again, definite 3 of the fact that it's a quick play also, so very easy to use. Very important spell card of the deck for sure. And it also revolves around a bunch of other different monsters you play, so very helpful for sure. And I also run 3 Ride of the Valkyries. You special summon any number of Valkyrie monsters with different names from your hand. If you special summon 3 or more monsters with this effect, you take no battle damage until the end of this next turn. And during the end phase of this turn, you activate this card, shuffle all monsters you control into the deck, and you can banish this card from your graveyard to add 1 Mischief of the Time Goddess from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Ride of the Valkyries once per turn. But the fact that Mischief of the Time Goddess brings you to the next turn, you skip the end phase, so you don't have the negative effect of Ride of the Valkyrie as long as you successfully use Mischief of the Time Goddess, of course, with your Valkyrie monsters. And I also run 2 Final Light. Just decide to run 2 of this new card in the deck. You pay life points in multiples of 1,000, then target 1 Valkyrie monster in your graveyard with a different name for every 1,000 life points paid, and special summon them. Then your opponent can special summon monsters with 2,000 or less attack from their graveyard up to the monsters you special summon. So it's a good card, especially since the fact that we did lose Soul Charge, just for special summons out to the field of your Valkyrie monsters. And then as long as you can handle the monsters your opponent may potentially summon out, but with 2,000 or less attack, you usually won't have too many things to worry about, and you'll be able to take care of them with your Valkyrie monsters. And I also run 3 Goddess Skald's Oracle. With this one, when this card is activated, if all monsters you control are Valkyrie monsters, you can add 1 Goddess Verdande from your deck to your hand. And once per turn during the main phase, you can look at the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. And if you do, place them on the top of the deck in any order. But you cannot normal or special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except fairy monsters. You can only use to activate 1 Goddess Skald's Oracle per turn. Works very well with Chest's Mill effect for sure, taking care of pesky cards that know you want gone in your opponent's deck. I run 3 since it's the start card for the other ones that we run. That's why I only run 2. Goddess Verdande's Guidance, since it is searchable, and when this card is activated, if all monsters you control are Valkyrie monsters, you can add 1 Goddess Erd's Verdict from your deck to your hand, and once per turn you can declare 1 type of card, monster, spell, or trap, reveal the top card of your opponent's deck, and if it was the declared type, they set it to their field, otherwise they add it to their hand. You can only activate 1 Goddess Verdande's Guidance per turn. So obviously if you have Scald set up for a Verdande, you'll get that card set out on the field, and then you can easily get rid of it with Goddess Erd's Verdict. Your opponent cannot target Valkyrie monsters you control with card effects. Also, they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And once per turn, you can declare 1 card name, then target 1 set card your opponent controls, reveal the set card, and if it was the declared card, banish it. Otherwise, banish 1 card you control. So if you set it up with Scald and then Verdande's Guidance, Erd's Verdict will take care of the card, and very easy to banish it and take care of a lot of problems, depending on what type of card it was, obviously. And then for more of the generic spells, 3 Celestial Transformation, pretty much staple. It's easy just to special summon out any of the Valkyries you need. The attack may be halved and it's destroyed during the end phase, but the end phase destruction, once again, can be avoided with Mischief of the Time Goddess, so very, very helpful when you can make that happen. And I also run 2 Valhalla, Hall of the Fallen. You can special summon 1 fairy-type monster from your hand once per turn. You must control no monsters to activate it, but just another easy special summon, comboed well when you have multiple ones and cards that can special summon them out, obviously. And I also run 1 1-for-1 for the Valkyrie Sesh that we run in the deck, obviously just an easy summon from the deck. And I also run 1 Monster Reborn, just easy special summon from the graveyard for your cards. And then for the traps, the only trap I run is 2 Apple of Enlightenment. I wanted to test this card out, and I've been happy with the results. You target cards in your opponent's graveyard up to the number of Valkyrie monsters you control, banish them, and if this set card in its owner's control has left the field because of an opponent's card effect and it is now in the graveyard or banished, you can draw cards equal to the number of Valkyrie monsters you control. So the fact that you can draw some pretty good cards as well with the destruction, or just have the banish option for the graveyard setup that you might have done with some of your cards. Very, very helpful trap, I would say, to run in the deck. And then for the extra deck, when you can go into the extra deck, it's more of just a generic option to extra deck to go into, but I run 1 Hippo Shenengen and 1 Landfornicus. If you want to run 2 Hippo Shenengen, you can do that as well. Just sometimes with some of the other Link monsters in the deck, Landfornicus can just help to readjust your arrows on the field. Also 1 Akashic Magician, 1 Summon Sorceress, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Link Karibo for the level 1s that we now have in the deck, 1 Underclock Taker, 1 Trigate Wizard, 1 Topologic Trisbana, 1 Triple Burst Dragon, 1 Topologic Bomber Dragon, 1 Saryuja, and 1 Borreload. And then for the Exceed monsters, I just have Exciton Knight in here, but you can honestly put any leveled Exceed monster you want in the deck to mix and match, just depending on what you wanted to use. I like the level 4 option a little more with Drite available to me, but if you wanted like a rank 3 or a rank 1, you can go for one of those options also. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.